Am I the only one seeing this?
Space Coconut.
So I was sitting on this video because I wanted to think it through a little before I talked about it. Now that I've sat in the juices and marinated on the changes for a little bit, I think it's safe to say that I don't think the Sabotage buffs are that big of a deal. Before I get into it, YouTube tells me that 76% of you who are watching the channel aren't actually subscribed. If you like what I do here and would like to see more like it, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I post a new video. I also stream on Mixer on Saturdays between 3 and 5. Be sure to follow me on Twitter to get a heads up when the next stream will start so you can mock my gameplay live. The link for that is down below. And with all the self-marketing out of the way, let's talk about these Sabotage buffs. I know that many killer mains are freaking out over the changes, but I'm here to tell you that I don't think you have too much to worry about. To clarify, yes, a 4-man group with this strategy in mind is going to dominate many killers, but let's be honest with ourselves. Regardless of the strategy, a 4-man group with a goal in mind will dominate many killers thanks to behavior's balance decisions anyway. The strength of Survive with Friends groups hasn't changed. They've simply gained another tool to play with, one that has gone underused for several years. The last time I went against a Sabo squad that I can remember was during the Lunar New Year event. Groups would run Sabo and bring toolboxes to break hooks to prevent killers from hooking survivors on the special event hooks. Do you remember in-game holiday events? Coconut remembers. If you want to see that video, the link is in the description as long as I remember to put it there. But let me ask you this. How do you deal with flashlights when you don't have Lightborn or Franklin's? You look at a wall, right? You try and turn to avoid the blind or injure the flashlight survivor and other means of securing your hook. It doesn't always work, and sometimes the survivor gets the save, but there are things we as killers can do to mitigate the threat of flashlights. This is where Sabotage is now. It's another means of escape that has counterplay by the killer. It takes less skill to accomplish than a flashlight save, so we're probably going to see more Sabo survivors and flashlight survivors from now on, which, as a hag main, is kind of a nice thing. The Sabo survivor is going to be hiding nearby in order to intercept and sabotage the hook you're heading to, which also means they're not doing a gen. In this moment, if you know what their plan is, you have to be mindful of your surroundings and make an appropriate judgment call as to how to proceed. Unlike old Sabotage, you can actively avoid a vulnerable hook and choose a different one. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I didn't have to go against a team that was utilizing this strategy to a large extent during the PTB, but there were a few survivors that did try to do so, and I was able to outsmart them most of the time and get the hook anyway. They're going to watch which hook you're walking to, and then make a mad dash to get there before you do. If you see a survivor doing this, turn around and look for another hook. They're already headed in another direction and won't be able to get to the second hook you choose to go to as long as you make the decision fast enough. Breakout is going to be a problematic perk for this tactic though, since it both speeds up the Sabotage survivor and shortens the wiggle time of the carried survivor. If I see a survivor moving faster than normal while I'm carrying a survivor, and it looks like they're going in for a Sabotage, I plan to drop the survivor immediately and go after that rescuer instead. The dropped survivor is still incapacitated for the time being, and the rescuer is being chased. Since they're equipped for Sabotage rescues, I might have an easier time than normal when downing them during a chase, since their kit is meant to interfere with the killer while they're carrying another survivor. One of the remaining 2 survivors will rescue the downed survivor, leaving only one on a gen. Of course, this may or may not play out the way I imagine it would, but making split-second decisions is something that we've all learned to do while playing this game, and the Sabotage change is just another thing that we have to adjust to. Of course, it might be adjusted when it goes to live, but, I mean, the Sabotage buffs are coming, regardless of anything we say or do. Now, like I said in the beginning, there's probably nothing that can be done against teams on comms that have their perks and tactics set up beforehand to sabotage all the hooks before a killer can get to them. So take the results of those matches with a grain of salt and pay more attention to the matches where there might just be one Sabotage hero on the map. This might give a better picture about how powerful the tactic is, similar to going up against 4 flashlight survivors. Once it goes live, I really do think that we'll all find that it's become about as annoying as flashlights. But here's the thing. This change has come about in part because Ruin was nerfed. This is an old and outdated mechanic that hardly saw any use and has been changed to make it easier to use in various situations. This actually makes me look forward to the changes they might have in store for other laughable perks like Monstrous Shrine, Zanchin Tactics, and others I can't really think of right now. Of course, with their track record of questionable design choices compared to their good ones, maybe my optimism is misplaced. As usual, we'll wait and see. In a way, this brings me back to the Ruin change as a whole. I'm sure many people agree that the change wasn't presented or implemented well. It was basically just shoved down our throats. And while we continue to mock the devs and live through the change they've thrown at us killer mains, I think if we take a moment and see what they've done since then, we can continue to mock them for their questionable decisions, but still give them credit for their good choices. But let's be honest, it's much more entertaining to rip on the negative. It makes for better videos. The learning curve we have to deal with for the new Sabotage is going to be rough. And of course, Survive with Friends groups are still stronger than killers of equal skill. Nothing has changed in that regard. But so far, it feels like they're tapping the weight further towards the balance point after several patches of ham-fisted changes. Once breakable walls get implemented and adjusted in addition to any other map changes that might come with them, it might lessen the time pressure that killers feel and in effect create more pressure on survivors to make less mistakes. Then on that point we can talk about the number of second chances they have, but let's not. I've said it before, everything in this game is tightly connected to each other. Any small change will create a ripple effect throughout other aspects of the game. This change to Sabotage might feel like a large buff, but once you figure out how to play around it like you do for flashlights and other tactics, you might find that it's less problematic than you initially thought. I'm optimistic to the changes we're going to see in the next few months to the remaining bad killer perks. Of course, I could be wrong and the devs end up making me look like an idiot for believing in their competence, but for now, really, we can only just wait and see what happens. Let me know what you think about this. Let's have a little conversation. I'm really interested to hearing your thoughts and opinions on this statement that Sabotage might not be so bad. It might be too strong. The time for it might be adjusted or different things might need to be changed, but overall I don't think it's a huge deal. If there are any other topics you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Let me know what you think about the end theme. John Robb, who made several killer themes along with the audio theme that you hear during this video, made these for me. So let me know what you think. Give him a follow on his channel. It does some good work. I'm gonna edit some video and make the end look a little bit nicer, but this is kind of what we got for now. So I'm gonna go play some Tarkov. I'm enjoying that a lot. I'm not getting any better, so no videos yet, but eventually, if you're interested. So until then, I'll see you in the fog.